In 1958, a wave surged 524 meters up a mountain in Alaska, higher than the Empire State Building. One rockslide caused it. But this wasn't a normal tsunami. An earthquake triggered a massive mountainside collapse straight into the bay. The water didn't just flood the shoreline, it ripped up the mountain, leaving a scar measured at an unbelievable 524 meters. To understand 524 meters, imagine water climbing higher than the Empire State Building, up the side of a mountain. It began with a violent earthquake, shaking Lituya Bay so hard that an entire mountainside suddenly broke loose. Lituya Bay was like a giant trap. Its narrow shape forced the displaced water upward instead of letting it spread freely. But people were already inside the bay. 3 fishing boats were caught in the disaster, and not everyone made it out. Yet 2 boats survived. They were carried over the enormous surge and somehow came back down without being destroyed. But the survivors weren't the only evidence. The wave stripped vegetation from the mountain, leaving behind a massive scar. The secret was the landslide itself. An enormous mass of rock crashed into the bay at incredible speed, displacing water almost instantly. And 524 meters wasn't a guess. Scientists measured the forest destruction line, then mapped its exact elevation. One fisherman watched it happen from his boat. First came the earthquake. Then, minutes later, a wall of water came straight toward him. Then the wave reached the boat. It lifted the entire vessel hundreds of feet above the bay, and somehow, it didn't break apart. Against all odds, the boat came back down and survived. But when the water finally receded, Lituya Bay looked complete. But here's the frightening part. The same mechanism can happen again if a massive landslide suddenly enters a confined body of water. But Lituya Bay had a rare combination: steep mountains, a narrow inlet, and an enormous landslide hitting the water almost at once. But here's the twist. 524 meters wasn't the wave's vertical height. It was how high the water ran up the mountain. And 1958 wasn't the first. Scientists found evidence of earlier giant waves here, meaning Lituya Bay had done.
The real mystery isn't whether a 524-meter wave existed. It's how a single landslide turned this quiet